ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Dear friends, in the last class we completed the second Mundaka. We know that this Mundaka Upanishad has got three Mundakas, three parts. Each one is called a Mundaka. And each Mundaka is having two sections, two khanda. They are called two khandas or two sections, as we say. So we completed the second Mundaka, second khanda also in the last class. Where that Vidyate Hrudaya Granthihi, the Upasana, Dhanur Gruhitva, Upanishadam, Mahastram, etc., etc., all these metaphors relating to bow and arrows and all those things they have been told. And then the nature of that, say, Brahman has been told. And where exactly is it to be located? Hiranmaye Pare Kosha, in that Anandamaya Kosha you can realize it. Then it also talked about Natatra Suryo Bhati. It is the illuminator of all the, say, illumining things. That is, it is the light of all lights. That is, light means that alone is the consciousness which is there pervading in all other sentient entities. So that is what it means. Light of all lights means the consciousness of Brahman is the only thing which is pervading and then which is there present in all the sentient beings. So that is the meaning of it. Then we are now coming to the third Mundaka, which is again going to talk about some other additional means. Earlier it talked about what is called Dhanur Gruhitva, Upanishadam Mahastram. So that Upasana, Omkara Upasana, for a slightly higher level of student it has told. Now the Upanishad is coming down to a slightly lower level of student who still requires some Chitta Shuddhi. So the Upanishad is now going to talk about Satyadi Sadhanani, talks about Satyam, etc. All these things are Ahimsa, Satyam, etc., which are all needed for Chitta Shuddhi. All of which we see in Bhagavad Gita as, what is that? Daivi Sampat. Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat we have seen. Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga. So in that, acquisition is a prerequisite. Acquisition of all those things, that is a prerequisite. That is a sort of spiritual discipline. So that is a prerequisite. So that is what we are going to see. And before telling about all that, the Upanishad is again presenting before us a metaphor. We have seen such metaphors in Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad, every khanda, every part of it was opening with a very dramatic, say, shloka. Every part of it was opening with a very dramatic shloka. For example, one particular khanda talks about Urdhvamulam Adhashyakam. Another dramatic opening was about Navadvare Pure Dehi. So like that. So every chapter was like that. So here also we find so many metaphors in order to explain the nature of Brahman. So now we are having the metaphor of a tree. Almost the same thing which we have seen in the Kathopanishad and also Bhagavad Gita, but with slight difference. Kathopanishad and Bhagavad Gita, they did not talk about the Jiva and Ishvara. They only talked about the nature of Samsara Vruksha. That Samsara Vruksha, how various things are, all the karma phala is there, and then so many things, so many varieties are there. So all that thing it has told. Asanga Shastrena Drudhena Chitva, that also we have seen. That is the Vruksha. Vruksha, the definition of that Vruksha, the etymological meaning of that word also we have seen. The etymological meaning is Vrashyate iti Vrukshaha. Vrashyate. The English word is W-R-E-C-K, wreck. That wreck and Vrashyate, they look quite cognate. So Vrashyate iti Vrukshaha, that which can be wrecked by an axe. And what is that axe? Asanga Shastrena, the axe called dispassion. The dispassion is like an axe which can cut into pieces, cut that tree into pieces. And after cutting it into pieces, you need not leave like that. Again, that jnanagni, and you can burn it with that jnanagni also, so that it turns into ashes. Because even when you cut a tree, again it may, some branch may say come out. So this tree has to be totally uprooted, and then it has to be burnt also. So that jnanagnina, of course jnanagni is not being told here. That is what is the general procedure. That is what the teachers normally say. The teachers say that this tree has to be wrecked by this axe called, say, vairagya, and then the jnana. Jnana is the next step. Vairagya is the first step, and jnana is the higher step. With that jnanagni, it turns into ashes. So that is what it is. So there is a metaphor of a tree. Tree is okay. But then the new thing here is the two birds. There are two birds which are perched on the tree. There are two birds which are perched on the tree. What are these two birds and what does it mean? So we will see that. Let us read the so we have to, there is a small avatarika. We will read the avatarika first. Paravidya Ukta Yayata Daksharam Purushartham Satyam Adhigamyate Yad Adhigame Hrudaya Granthyadi Samsara Karanasya Atyantika Vinashas Syat Tad Darshanopayascha Yogo Dhanurad Kalpanaya Uktaha. Okay. So he is saying, just recapitulating what has been covered earlier by the Upanishad. He says, Paravidya Vukta. Paravidya is the same thing as Brahmavidya, same thing as Atmavidya. Paravidya Vukta, it has been told. Yaya means by which. Tat Aksharam Purushakhyam. Aksharam, that imperishable. Purusha means Purnatvat Purusha, that which is the Purnam, that which is the infinite. Purna Purushaha. Purushakhyam Satyam. Satyam also is something which cannot be negated, which cannot be sublated at any point of time. That which is beyond all this parichanna, beyond all these limitations called Desha, Kala, Vastu Parichanna. So that is that Satyam. So that Satyam is Adhigamyate. Adhigamyate means by which it is attained, by which it is realized. Adhigamyate, Adhigama is realization. So Paravidya is the thing where this Akshara Brahma is realized. Then Yad Adhigame means by knowing which. Yad Adhigame, by knowing which. Hrudaya Granthyadi Samsara Karanasya. So this Samsara Karanam, the cause for this Samsara. Samsara means transmigration. So this cause for transmigration, what is that? Hrudaya Granthi, this sort of knot in that intellect. The knot in the intellect is that avidya. Avidya means, what is this avidya? Identification with the body-mind complex is that avidya. Knot in the mind is identification with the body-mind complex, not knowing your real self, knowing yourself as some delimited being, and not knowing that you are not different from that supreme reality. So that is that avidya Granthi, that ignorance. That not knowing that he is not different from that supreme reality is itself that avidya Granthi. So Granthi is a knot, Granthi. Avidya Hrudaya Granthihi Granthyadi Samsara Karanasya. Of that Samsara Karanam Atyantika Vinasha Syat. By knowing that, by realizing that Brahma, Atyantika Vinasha, the total destruction, total eradication. Atyantika means without any second word. Atyantika, total. Vinashaha means destruction. Vinashaha Syat. That the destruction of what? Avidya Granthi. Samsara Karanasya Vinashaha. So the very cause of that samsara gets destroyed. Then tad darshanopayasya yoga uktaha. And then the yoga. Yoga means, here what was told was dhyana yoga. Omkara upasana, Omkara dhyanam. So it is a higher level of dhyana, isn't it? Karma yoga is the lowest level. After that karma yoga, this atma sanyama yoga. In that karma yoga, a person is still having that notion of I, isn't it? Karma yoga, a person is performing various karmas, still he is having that notion of I. And he may or he may not have practiced Chitta Shuddhi, other Atma Sanyama, the self-restraint and things like that. He may not have practiced this Patanjali, this Chitta Shuddhi, which is told in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Ahimsa, Asteya, Parigraha, etc. Yama, what is this? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Prana, Yama, Pratyahara, etc. He might not have followed. So that is the second level. Higher than that is that Dhyana Yoga, where you involve the element of Dhyana also, meditation. You take some Saguna Brahma or take some other Alambana and then you perform, say, this Dhyana. So the Karma Yoga is the first level. Atma Sanyama, the self-purification, is a slightly higher level. The third level is Dhyana, and Dhyana includes Bhakti also. And then is the Jnana, isn't it? So this Dhyana has been told earlier. So that is what he is saying. Tad darshanopayasya yogaha, yoga here means Dhyana yogaha, dhanuradyupadana kalpanaya vuktaha. By another metaphor called dhanuhu adi upadana. Upadana means material. Upadana means, you know that upadana karanam. Upadana means material. Dhanuradhyupadana kalpanaya. By taking up metaphor such as dhanuhu, etc. Dhanus means bow. Bow and arrow. With that, by taking up that particular example, it has been explained. Then, atha idanim tat sahakarini satyadi sadhanani vaktavyaani iti tadartham uttararambha. Okay, Uttaragrantharambha. Uttararambha actually means that only. Pradhanyena tattva nirdharanancha prakarantarena kriyate atyanta duravagahyatvat krutamapi. Avagahyatva, both are correct. Avagahyatvat krutamapi. Tatra sutrabhuto mantraha paramarthavastvavadharanartham upanyasyate. Okay. So, atha idanim. Now, atha idanim. Now, tat sahakarini satyadi sadhanani. So, one sadhanam has been told. That sadhanam is that Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga is one means. And then there is another sahakari. Sahakari means associate. Associate, slightly lower, secondary. Sahakarini, satyadi sadhanani. Satyam, it does not, now here in this context, it does not refer to Brahman. It refers to Satya Vak, Satya Vachanam. That is being truthful. At an empirical level we are talking, not the supreme Satyam. So Satyadi sadhanani. Satyam, Ahimsa, etc. Steyam, Aparigraha, etc. etc. These are the sadhanani. So there in Gita we have seen about two types of sadhanani. Sadhana means a means. So we have seen certain means which are called Bahiranga sadhana, and there are another higher means called Antaranga sadhana. So this Bahiranga sadhana is, Karma Yoga is a Bahiranga sadhana. Karma Yoga, performance of karma, say as an offering to the Lord, as an order from the Lord, as say obeying a divine will, as obeying a divine scheme or a cosmic scheme. That is what is called Karma Yoga. So that is the lower level. That is again a Bahiranga sadhana. Why is it called a Bahiranga sadhana? Because after a person becomes a Jnani, he is no longer bothered about all these karmas. So they drop away. After a person becomes a Jnani, a person may, by virtue of prarabdha karma, he may be doing it. But then, like King Janaka, but then a person totally can give up also. He is at liberty. So this is something which does not continue to exist after a person becomes a Jnani. So that is why it is Bahiranga. Bahiranga means external. Karma Yoga, in fact, Swami Akhandananda says it is somewhat like a detergent. Because when you go to the bathroom, you apply, when your body is fully dirty, then you apply soap. When you apply soap, and then you don't come out with that soap itself. You have to wash off that soap also. After the dirt is cleaned, not only the dirt, you have to wash off the soap also. So like that, once the Chitta Shuddhi is attained, you have to leave that karma also. So that Karma Yoga is compared to a detergent or some shampoo, call whatever you want. So that is Karma Yoga is a Bahiranga sadhana. Whereas Dharma, this Dhyana Yoga, Omkara, etc., Omkaropasana, it is an Antaranga sadhana. Because that continues to be there. Because he is in that state of awareness, He even a jnani also, he also does atmanusandhanam. Atmanusandhanam means always he has to be in that awareness, and sometimes he may slip also. And he will continue to be doing such things in order to ensure that he doesn't slip out, he doesn't slip down. So that is an antaranga sadhana. Antaranga sadhana also includes satya, ahimsa, etc., etc. Because a jnani, it doesn't mean that jnani can tell untruth and get away. Jnani can perform ahimsa and get away. It's not like that. A jnani will not do. A jnani, the point is the jnani will not do. He has gone beyond all those things. So that is the point. So satyadi sadhanani vaktavyani means they have to be told. Iti tadartham uttararambha. Uttararambha means uttara granthasya arambha. Uttara grantha means the later part of the text. The later part of the text is now commencing in order to tell some other sadhanas, some other sadhanani. That's the point. Pradhanyena tattva nirdharanancha prakarantarena kriyate. Pradhanyena tattva nirdharanam. Pradhanyena say Anandagiri has written Tatparya Vishayata Ityartha. Okay. Pradhanyena, more importantly, Pradhanyena means importantly, Tattva Nirdharanartham. Tattva Nirdharanartham means in order to ascertain the Tattva, the real nature of that Brahman, ascertain the real nature of Brahman. That means in order to communicate the real nature of the Brahman, Prakarantarena Kriyate. Prakarantaram means in another, a new formula, let us say. Prakara means a method. In a new method, in a totally novel method. Earlier it has given some metaphors. Now it is giving another metaphor. Prakarantarena. Nowadays we call it a paradigm, a new paradigm. So in a new paradigm or in a new fashion, in a new formula, in a novel method, let us say, in a novel method, the text is trying to explain the same point. Pradhanyena for this Pradhanyena, Anandagiri writes, Apurvatvena Tatparya Vishayataya, he says. Apurva means that which has not been told earlier is Apurva. Purva means earlier. Apurva means that which has not been told earlier. So Apurvatvena, Pradhanyena, for that he says Apurvatvena. That is in a totally novel manner. The text is going to say, why? Atyanta duravagahyatvat krutamapi. Though it has already been explained. Krutamapi means though it has already been explained, it is something which is atyanta duravagahyam. It is very, very difficult to comprehend. So that is why newer and newer examples and the paradigms have to be presented before us so that we can understand it. Then tatra sutra bhuto mantra. A mantra which is sutra bhuta. It is almost like a formula. Sutra bhutaha means it is somewhat like a formula. It is a formula like. Sutra bhutaha means a formula like mantra. Paramartha vastu avadharanartham. In order to understand, avadharana means in order to properly understand this paramartha vastu. That paramartha, that supreme vastu, avadharanartham, upanyasyate. Upanyasyate means it is being presented before us. Now let us read the mantra. This is again a very famous mantra. Again a very, very famous mantra which is quoted very, very often. This is quoted, this is again disputed in the sense the Advaita say tradition, that is a non-dual tradition, says these two birds are one and the same. Whereas the Dvaitins, they are very happy with this because they say, oh, there are two birds, you see, there is a Jiva is different and this Ishvara is different. So they interpret it in a different way in order to support their argument that Jiva is totally different from Ishvara. Whereas the non-dual interpretation is something which is unique. And non-dual interpretation is something which is in accordance with the Shruti. Then let us see. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vruksham parishasvajate tayoranyah pippalam swadvatti. Swadvatti, yeah, Swadvatti, Anashnan Nanyo Abhichakashiti. So here of course we should not actually split because the line is continuous. Tayoranyah Pippalam Swadvatyanashnan Nanyo Abhichakashiti. We should not actually split. Pippalam Swadvatyanashnan Nanyo, because it is a slight tongue twister, I split it. Okay, now here let us see the mantra. Dva Suparna Sayuja. This Dva has to be converted to Dvau. Suparna should become Suparnau. Sayuja, Sayujau, because Dvivachana. This is all Dvivachana. Then Sakhaya has to become Sakhayau. That is because this is the Vedic Sanskrit. The older form of Sanskrit. The classical Sanskrit means the Sanskrit which we know. Sanskrit used by Shankaracharya is called classical Sanskrit. The Vedic Sanskrit is Dva, Suparna, Sayuja, Sakhaya, etc. That is the older one, much older one. So this Dva means Dvau, Suparna is Suparnau, Sayuja, Sayujau, Sakhaya, Sakhayau. So Dvau, what are these two? Suparnau. Suparnau means, Parna means a wing. Suparna means having bright wings, beautiful wings, strong wings, let us say. Of course, he is going to explain. Sayuja, Sayuja, from the Yuja Dhatu. Yuji, Yojane, unite, Yuji, Yoge. That is well united. They are united, always united. Then Sakhaya, Sakhaya, Sakha. The meaning of Sakha is, Amara Kosham says, Samana Khyataha Sakha. Samana Khyataha Sakha means one who is mentioned as equal to somebody else. Somebody who is mentioned as equal. Suppose I say, you are my Sakha. That is, you are mentioned as equal to me by all other people. Like Rama Lakshmana, Krishna Arjunulu. So something like Krishna Arjuna, Rama Lakshmana, Balarama Krishna, like that, Nara Narayana. So like that, when one name is taken, it is another name is immediately taken. So they are so close, they are so closely they are so friendly, they are so closely together. So that's what it means. Sakhaya. Sakha is friend. Sakhayau is plural. Sakhayau. Samanam vruksham parishasva jate. Samanam, the same. Samanam vruksham, the tree. Parishasva jate. These two are embraced. They are embracing the same tree. Parishvanga. There is a word called parishvanga. Parishvanga means an embrace. It can be man-woman embrace, or you embrace a tree, whatever it is an embrace. Parishasva jate. Parishasva jate means these two are embraced. The two birds are embracing a tree. Literally, in normal English, we will say two birds are perched on a tree, we say. Instead of saying perched, they are embracing a tree. A poetic way of saying. Then tayoho anyaha. Between those two, tayoho anyaha, that is between those two, one of them, one of the two, pippalam swadu atti. Swadu pippalam atti. Swadu means very delicious. Very delicious. Pippalam, a type of fruit. We were not very sure what type of fruit it is. Pippalam swadu atti. Atti means it eats. Then anyaha. Anyaha means the other one. One is eating a very delicious fruit. The tree is having so many delicious fruits. So this one bird is eating the fruit. The other bird is not eating the fruit. Anashnan anyaha, anashnan, not eating. Then abhichakashiti, it merely sees. Abhichakashiti means it just looks on. That is the meaning of abhichakashiti. So here, of course, there are several interpretations for this. The dualist interpretation, non-dualist interpretation, and God alone knows how this has gone into Christianity also, because Christianity also, we have got that tree where the Eve eats the fruit, Eve does not eat the fruit. Adam is Atma. Adam is comparable to Atma. Atma who doesn't eat the fruit. This Shuddha Chaitanya doesn't eat the fruit of the karma. That fruit means karma phala. And then the Jiva is the fellow who is eating the Jiva is Eve. So God knows how it has gone into Christianity also. Somebody has to do some research and find out. So anyway, this is a beautiful mantra. Let us see the Bhashyam. Dva dvau Suparna Suparnau Shobhana Patanau Suparnau Pakshi Samanyadva Suparnau Sayuja Sayujau Sahaiva Sarvada Yuktau Sakhaya Sakhayau Samanakhyanau Samanabhivyakti Karanau Evam Bhutau Santau Samanam Avishesham Upalabdhyadhishthanataya Ekam
अविशेषम् उपलब्ध्यधिष्ठानतया एकम्
वृक्षं वृक्षमिव उच्छेदन सामान्यात् शरीरं वृक्षं
वृक्षं वृक्षमिव उच्छेदन सामान्यात् शरीरं वृक्षं
परिषस्वजाते परिष्वक्तवन्तौ.
परिषस्वजाते परिष्वक्तवन्तौ.
So for the entire line he has given samanam vruksham parishasvajate up to that point. See, let us see. Dva is dvau, two, suparna, suparnau. What is the suparna? Shobhana patanau. That is beautiful flight, those which have very wonderful flight. Patana. Patana means actually one meaning of patana means falling. Patana, it also means flying. Shobhana patanau, wonderful flight. Have a nice flight, they say. So like that. Shobhana patanau, what is this nice flight? So Shankara Anandagiri is giving a meaning for that. Jivasya agnatvena niyamyatvena. Okay. Niyamaka shakti ishvara shobhanam uchitam. Niyamakatva shakti yoga shobhanam uchitam. Okay, he says niyamya niyamaka bhava gamanam yayoho tau shobhana patanau. That is, one is niyamya and the other is niyamaka. Niyamya means one which is influenced by the other. Influencer and the influenced. Niyamya is the influenced. Niyamaka is the influencer. So the Atma, Chaitanya, is the influencer. This Jiva is the influenced. So that is what it is. So these two, they are so together. Shobhana Patano, they have got such a nice flight because these two are so closely, they are working as a team. That is why they are having a nice flight. Because suppose you imagine a bird in which both wings have to fly properly. If one wing, in this particular case, one wing is controlling the other wing. One wing is controlling the other wing. So if this wing is not there, this wing goes away. So it is like that. So Shobhana Patanau, he says, because of the fact that one is an influencer and the other is the influenced. One is a niyamaka and the other is niyamya. So like that, they are having a good flight. Shobhana Patanau, Suparnau. Or Pakshi Samanyat Va means or. It can also be said Pakshi Samanyat because it is an analogy of bird is given, isn't it? Pakshi Samanyat means because on the analogy of that bird, Suparnau, they are having good wings. Suparna, Su means good, Parna means wing. So if you just merely take the analogy of a bird, there are those which are having good wings. Then he also says Sayuja, Sayuja meaning is Sahaiva Sarvada Yuktau. Sarvada always, Sahayeva Yuktau. They are always united. Sahayeva Yuktau. Then Sakhayav means Samanakhyanav. Sakhayav also there is a meaning here. What is the meaning here? Samanakhyanav Akhyanam Prakashaha Uhayoh. Okay. Sakhayav, Samana Akhyanav. They are mentioned equally. They are mentioned together. Samana Akhyanav. Their names. Akhyanam actually means name. Samana Akhyanav having the same name. Why? Samana Abhivyakti Karanav. Samana Abhivyakti Karanav. Their, the cause for their manifestation is one and the same. Samana Abhivyakti Karanam. Samana Abhivyakti Karanam means their cause for manifestation is one and the same. That is, Shuddha Chaitanyam is the cause. Shuddha Chaitanyam is the cause for the manifestation of the Antahkarana Avachinna Chaitanya and Antahkarana Upahita Chaitanya. In Vedanta, we have come across two words. In Vedanta Paribhasha, we come across two words. What is called? You see, Chaitanyam is one and the same. That is, consciousness is one and the same. That consciousness which is reflecting in the Antahkarana. Consciousness reflects in the Antahkarana, and because of that reflection, and again it also reflects through the Indriyas. So that is why we are able to cognize things, isn't it? So whereas this particular Chaitanya, which identifies itself with the Jiva, with the body-mind complex, with the Linga Sharira. Linga Sharira means the mind, Indriyas, etc., etc. That is called Jiva. And then Antahkarana Upahita Chaitanya means Antahkarana is the Upadhi for that. Antahkarana is the Upadhi. That is something which is, that Chaitanya is it is called Jiva Sakshi. One which is identifying with this Antahkarana body-mind complex is called Jiva. The next thing, the Upahita Chaitanya, Chaitanya is one and the same, there is no difference in that Chaitanya. The Chaitanya which is having this as an Upadhi is called, that is Ishvara, that is called Ishvara. Not Ishvara, that is Jiva Sakshi. It is also called, it can be also called Ishvara. Jiva, Ishvara, this Jiva and Jiva Sakshi. So this is the say subtle difference. Antahkarana Visishta Chaitanya or Antahkarana Avachchina Chaitanya, whatever you say, it is called Avachchedavadam. So this Chaitanya which is identifying itself with the body-mind complex is called Jiva. That is because of ignorance. And then this Upahita Chaitanya which is not identifying itself with the body-mind complex, which is basically illumining the whole thing. That is what is called Upahita Chaitanya or Sakshi Chaitanya. So we are now talking about these two things, Jiva and Sakshi Chaitanya. So Pakshi Sakhayo Samanakhyano Samana Abhivyakti Karanau. That is, Abhivyakti Karanam is one and only one consciousness. Abhivyakti Karanam. This notes also it is same given. Akhyanam Prakashaha Prakashaha Ubhayoho Atayeva Swaprakashatvaditi Kalpatarau Vyakyatam. Okay. Evam Bhutau Santau. Evam Bhutau Santau means being in this manner. Evam Bhutaha means in this manner. Being in this manner. Evam Bhutau Santau. Samanam Vruksham. Samanam means Avishesham. Avishesham means not different. Something which is not different is Avishesham. Vishesham means something special. Avishesham means nothing special, not something different. Avishesham Upalabdhi Adhishtanataya Yekam. Upalabdhi Adhishtanataya. What is the Adhishtaram or the base for this entire Upalabdhi? This base, the Upalabdhi Sthanam is Antahkaranam. The base for that is that Shuddha Chaitanyam only. So that is why it is called Ekam. Ekam Vruksham. Vruksham means Vrashchanat. Vruksham eva Uchedana Samanyat Shariram Vruksham. So Vruksham here refers to this Samsara Vruksham, which is not different, not other than this body-mind complex only. This body-mind complex which is also called the Samsara Vruksham. The Vruksham is Vrukshamiva Uchedana Samanyat. What is the common factor between the Vruksham and the body? Because it is Vichedana Samanyat. It is this the fact that it is wrecked or destroyed is common to the tree and also to the body. It is this wrecking is common both to the tree and to the body. Vrukshamiva Uchedana Samanyat. It is common to the body and the tree. So that is why it is called Shariram is called Vruksham. Then Parishasva Jate Parishvaktavantau. Parishvanga, I said it is an embrace. Parishvaktavantau means they are embracing the tree. They are, you can say, perched on a tree or hugging the tree. You can say anything. Then Suparna Viva Ekam. Let me say Ekam. Ekam Vruksham Phalopabhogartham.
Ekam Vruksham Phalopabhogartham.
Phala Upabhogartham. That is Suparna Viva. Suparna Viva means like the birds which have nice wings. Suparna Viva Parishvaktavantau. Ekam Vruksham Phala Upabhogartham. In order to enjoy the fruit. In order to enjoy the fruit of that karma. So here the example you see, there is a tree. Tree is something which can get wrecked. When the tree gets wrecked, what happens to the birds? Birds fly away, isn't it? Birds will not die. The tree may die, but the birds will not die. So that also is another implication. The implication, in fact, in Akhandananda Maharaj, he points out in one of his talks that even if the tree dies, the birds will not die. That is Chaitanya. Chaitanya is always there. But this thing, this jiva which is associated with this linga sharira, that again goes to another body. This jiva which is associated with this linga sharira, it also goes to transmigrates to another body. It doesn't die. So from that also you can, that is an implication. When one tree falls, it goes into another tree. It's like that. So upabhogartham. Ayam hi vrukshaha. Urdhvamulaha avakshakaha. Ashvattha Avyaktamula Prabhavaha Kshetra Sanyakaha Sarva Prani Karma Phalashrayaha Tam Parishvaktau Suparna Viva
तं परिष्वक्तौ सुपर्णाविव
अविद्या काम कर्म वासनाश्रय लिंगोपाध्यात्मा ईश्वरौ
अविद्या कामकर्म
वासनाश्रय
लिंगोपाध्यात्म
ईश्वरौ. Here, of course, Lingopadhyatmeshwarau it says, but we have to break it. Lingopadhyatma, up to that point is Lingopadhi. Avidya Kama Karma Vasana Shriya Lingopadhi Atma is one. Ishvara is another. So these two things are mixed. So the whole expression Avidya Kama Karma Avidya Kama Karma Vasana Shriya Lingopadhi Atma, up to that point is one. Then Ishvara is another. So Ayam hi vrukshaha, this particular vruksha, this particular tree, ayam vrukshaha, urdhva moolaha. The moola, the origin, the source is urdhva. Urdhva means top. Urdhva refers to Brahman, avyakta moola prabhavaha. So this moola, this root, is something which is, it is not known. Avyakta, here it is urdhva moolam. Let us see, let us recall what we learnt in that Kathopanishad. That is given by Anandagiri. Urdhvam utkrushtam brahma moolam adhishthanam. Brahma is the adhishthanam, that is the substratum for all these things. So that is why urdhva, it is called urdhva, the highest thing. Utkrushtam, utkrushtam is the highest, and that highest is that Brahma. Urdhva moolam adhishthanam asya iti urdhva moolaha. Then what are the shakaha? Avanchaha pranadayaha shakaha. So this mind, body, and then prana, all these things, they are like the branches. So urdhva moolam adhashakam is the meaning of, is that Brahman, that is the original source, substratum. From that all these shakaha. Then he is still explaining. Urdhva moolaha avak shakaha ashvathaha. This word also we have seen. Ashvathaha. Shvaha means tomorrow. Shvaha is tomorrow. Shvaha tishtati iti shvathaha. Na shvaha tishtati iti ashvathaha. So it doesn't stay till tomorrow. Literally we may stay till tomorrow. It doesn't stay till tomorrow means we can't say when it drops away. So that is what it is. There is no certainty that it is going to stay till tomorrow. So ashvathaha. Then avyakta, that means it is impermanent. The basic point, it is ephemeral, it is impermanent. The point is that. Then avyakta moola prabhavaha. This is further clarifying. Avyakta moola prabhavaha. Avyakta. We know this avyakta is unmanifest, which is otherwise called Maya. So in that Shuddha Chaitanya, this Maya is that, is an appearance in that Shuddha Chaitanya, isn't it? So this Maya or avyakta, this unmanifest, is the source for all these things, isn't it? So avyakta is the moola, that is the root. Avyakta moola prabhavaha means that which is, prabhavaha means origin. Avyakta moola prabhavaha means the tree for which this avyakta is the origin. So that is the samasa. Avyakta moola prabhavaha. Then kshetra sanyakaha. It is also called kshetram. Kshetra sanyakaha means it is called kshetram. It is called, it is named. Sanya means name, isn't it? Sanyakaha means it is named as kshetram. Why is it called kshetram? Kshetra means a field. Field and the field knower. Kshetra and kshetrajna, you have seen. Kshetrajna is the person, that one who is identifying with the body-mind complex, that jiva is the kshetrajna. Kshetram is this body-mind complex. So I say it is my hand. So which means this hand is not me. My body, I say. Body, apart from the body, there is something called the mind. I say the mind also, my mind, I say. So that means there is somebody who is also looking at the mind, which is objectifying the mind. So that means my real nature is that awareness, that consciousness, which is able to objectify all this body-mind complex. So all this body-mind complex is called kshetram. So the body-mind complex only is here talked about as a tree. So that whole tree is the kshetram. Whereas this chaitanya or consciousness is totally away from that, which is illumining the whole thing. That is the point. Kshetra sanyakaha sarva pranikarma phalashrayah. Pranikarma, praninam sarva karma phalashrayah. The sarva has to be connected to karma phala. Sarva karma phala. That is praninam sarva karma phala. That is for the beings, for all these pranis. That is the sarva karma phalashrayah. The entire karma phala is there in that. So what all karma phala is there, whatever karma is there in the past lives and all that, that karma phala is carried on by us. There is a backlog. It is being carried on like say backlog in any office. In any office, if you see, there is a backlog of work. So many files will be there. It is like that. Karma phalashrayah. Then tam parishvaktau suparnaviva. Like two birds, suparnaviva, like birds with nice wings. Tam parishvaktau, that is suparnaviva. What are they? Avidya kama karma vasanashraya lingopadhi atma. One is that atma, it is also atma. It is not different from atma. The tattva, the basic essential nature of these two is one and the same. Jiva and Sakshi, they are not two different entities. Tattvataha, they are one and the same. Tattvataha, they are one and the same consciousness. But one is that lingopadhi. It is having that linga shariram as the upadhi. Linga shariram, we know. Linga shariram means the indriyas, the mind, and then the pranas. Altogether, it is called the linga sharira. The indriyas, the mind, and the pranas, along with the baggage of karma. The whole thing is linga sharira, isn't it? So that linga sharira is the upadhi. That is what is called linga sharira upadhi atma, is that jiva. Then, what is the reason for all that? Avidya kama karma vasanashraya. This lingopadhi, what is it? The further description of that linga sharira. Avidya kama karma vasanashraya. It is the ashraya. It is the location. It is the location for this avidya and kama karma. Because of avidya, you are doing some there is a kama, there is a desire, and because of the desire, you are doing some work, and because you have done some karma, there is a karma phala, and this linga sharira is the accumulated form. This is accumulation of that whole thing. Because of avidya, there is a desire, and because of desire, there is a karma, and because of karma, there is a karma phala, and this linga sharira is the place where the whole thing is, it stands accumulated. So that is that thing. So that is the upadhi for this atma. So that is the jivatma. And Ishwarau. That atma is one and Ishvara is another. So that Atmeshwarau is the actual thing. That atma is having that upadhi, stupid upadhi. And that once the stupid upadhi goes, this atma and Ishvara are one and the same. That is the point. Tayoha parishvaktayoho Anyaha ekaha kshetrajnaha lingopadhihi Vruksham ashritaha Pippalam karma nishpannam sukha dukkha lakshanam phalam Swadu aneka vichitra vedanaswada rupam swadu Atti bhakshayati upabhunkte avivekataha. Okay, tayoranyaha pippalam swadvati. That is the line. Tayoho, between those two, one, patayoho parishvaktayoho, of those two which are embracing that tree, ekaha, anyaha means ekaha, that one, kshetrajnaha. Kshetrajna is that jiva. Jiva which is identifying itself with the body-mind complex, jivaha. Lingopadhihi means that which is having this linga sharira as upadhi. Linga sharira as its defining adjunct, limiting adjunct. Then vruksham that both are vruksham only. That they are located on the tree. What is it doing? Pippalam swadu atti. It is eating the delicious pippalam fruit. What is that delicious pippalam? Karma nishpannam sukha dukkha lakshanam palam. Karma nishpannam, that which is the result of karma nishpanna, that which is the result of, that which has evolved from, that which is the result, which is the result of karma nishpannam phalam. And this phalam includes both sukha and dukkha. Sukha dukkha lakshanam phalam is which is characterized by sukha and dukkha, which can be described as sukha and dukkha. There are so many things which are good, so many things which are bad. We have to experience all of them. Then swadu. Swadu means aneka vichitra vedanaswarupam. Vedanaswada rupam. You are doing aswadana. Aswadana means you are relishing. Aswadana. Aswadana means aswadistunam, we say in Telugu also, we say, oh, what rasaswadanam, we say. You are relishing that delicious drink or delicious fruit, let us say. You are taking that fruit, and that fruit, a mango, imagine a mango fruit, a ripe mango fruit. So there is a delicious rasam which is there, and then you are eating and also aswadana, that is you are swallowing, you are relishing that whole, say, delicacy. Phalam swadu, yeah, where is it? Sukadukha lukshanam phalam swadu aneka vichitra vedanaswada rupam. Aneka, several, vichitra means diverse, so many types of. One day you listen to music, another day you see some dance, another day you go to a bar, another day you go to a satsanga. There are so many types. So satsanga also you enjoy, sometimes you go to some other place. So all those things, aneka vichitra, vedana means experience. Vedana does not mean anything, vedana with dhatu. Vedana is experience. Aswadana, so you are having so many experiences, you are aswadana, you are relishing, you are maybe relishing, may not be relishing, but aswadana, you are experiencing all those things. Aswadana rupam swadu. So that phalam which is called swadu is like this, so having so much of diversity in its say enjoyment. Aswadu. Atti means bhakshayati bhunkte, adadhatu, eating. That is bhakshayati, bhunkte, upabhunkte, it eats. Avivekataha. So finally, avivekataha, because of ignorance. Because of ignorance means what is this aviveka? Lack of discrimination. So once that viveka comes, then it realizes that, oh, I am not this, I am that Sakshi only. So that is the point that we are going to see in the next shloka. Avivekataha. Then the other one, Anashnan Anyo Abhijakashiti, he is going to explain. Anashnan Anyaha Itaraha Ishwaraha
Anashnan Anyaha Itaraha Ishwaraha
Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha Sarvajnaha
Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha Sarvajnaha
Sarva Sattvopadhihi Ishwaro Na Ashnati.
Sarva Sattvopadhi Ishwaraha Na Ashnati.
Okay. So the Anashnan Anyaha. Anashnan, not eating. Anashnan, present continuous. Anashnan Anyaha Kevalam Pashyati. That is, by just without eating. Without eating, the other one simply watches. So that is what it means. That is, without eating means it is the present continuous. So Anashnan Anyaha Itaraha. What is this Itara? The other one is Ishwaraha. What is the nature of that Ishwara? Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha Sarvajnaha. This is that Sarvajna. This is that Jnana Swarupa. Sarvam plus Jna. Sarvascha tat Jnascha. Sarvamcha tat Jnascha. Sorry, tat is Napumsakalinga. Sarvamcha tat Jnascha. That is the entire, what all this, the Sarvam is that only, and which is Jnana Swarupam. And what is the nature? Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta. Nitya, these words we know.
Yeah,
Nitya is something which is Satyam. Nitya is the same as Satyam, which is something which is always there. Shuddha means that which does not have the defects of all these upadhis. The body-mind complex is an upadhi. Shuddha is something which is Chaitanya, which is not affected by any upadhi. Buddha means which is of the nature of Buddha. Buddha means knowledge, which is the nature of awareness, whose nature is awareness. Mukta, it is not bound by anything. It is always say of a free nature, in the sense that it is not bound like us by anything. Mukta Swabhavaha, that is its nature. Sarvajnaha. Then Sarva Sattvopadhihi Ishwaraha. This is Sarva Sattvopadhihi. For this word Sattva, Anandagiri is giving some example, not example, meaning. Sattvopadhihi. Sattva. Sarva Sattvopadhihi. For this word Sattvam, Mayakhyam Upadhihi Asya iti Sattvopadhihi. For this word Sattvam, Anandagiri is giving the meaning Maya. You can note down, because I don't know whether it is given in your book or not. Mayakhyam Upadhihi Asya iti Sattvopadhihi. So this Maya is the Upadhi for that Ishvara, isn't it? You see, Mayopadhikam Chaitanyam Ishvaraha, isn't it?
Yes.
Mayopadhikam Chaitanyam Ishvaraha. Shuddha Brahma is one. So then Shuddha Brahma, when it becomes, when this Maya manifests in it, that Mayopadhikam Chaitanyam is called Ishvara, isn't it? The Antahkarana Visishta Chaitanyam is something different. Chaitanyam is one and the same. Whereas Antahkarana Visishta Chaitanyam, which is identifying himself with the body-mind complex, is this. Then Sarva Sattvopadhi, that is the Maya Vachanna. That is Maya Vachannam Chaitanyam is something, or Mayopadhikam Chaitanyam is something which is Ishvara. Mayopadhikam, where is this word? Sarvajnah, Sattvopadhi, Ishvaraha, na ashnati, it does not eat. That means this Sakshi is something which in fact is illumining, which is enabling the other one to eat, which is enabling the other one to enjoy. Whereas this Sakshi, Chaitanya, is a pure Chaitanya, which is not interfering with any of these things. It is simply enabling all these things, somewhat like the sun's light, the same example of the sun's light we see. Then Prerayita Hyasau
Prerayita Hyasau
Ubhayoho Bhojya Bhoktroho
Ubhayoho Bhojya Bhoktroho
Nitya Sakshitva Satta Matrena
Nitya Sakshitva Satta Matrena
Satu Anashnan Anyaha Abhichakashiti
Satu Anashnan Anyaha Abhichakashiti
Pashyatyeva Kevalam
Pashyatyeva Kevalam
Darshanamatram hi tasya prerayitrutvam rajavat.
Darshanamatraṁ hi tasya prerayitrutvam rajavat.
Okay. So prerayita means one who enables the other man to do a thing. Prerayita. One who enables the other person to do a thing is the prerayita. So prerayita hyasau. Asau means we are referring to Sakshi. This Sakshi, Yar Ishvara, is somebody who is a prerayita, who is the antaryami, the antaha yamayati, that is antaryami. Asau ubhayoho, for the both. What both? Bhojya bhoktroho. Bhojya bhoktroho. Bhojya means all this experience is bhojyam. Bhojyam means that which is experienced. All this experience, karma phalam is the bhojyam. Bhokta is the jiva, who is unfortunately identifying with the body-mind complex. He is the jiva. Bhojya bhoktroho. Bhojyam is one and bhokta is another. Bhojya bhoktroho means this is Shashti Dvivachana for Bhojyam and Bhokta. Bhojyam and Bhokta. Bhojya Bhoktaro. Isn't it? Bhojya Bhoktroho is the two. Bhojya Bhoktroho means for these two. What is this Bhojyam and what is this Bhokta? Bhojyam is all the experience, this whole karma phala. Bhokta is this jiva. For these two, Nitya Sakshitva Satta Matrena. Just existing as a Sakshi. Just existing as a sort of witness consciousness for both these things. It is enabling this Bhokta to enjoy that Bhojyam. Enabling this eater. Bhokta is eater. Bhojyam is eaten. So this Jiva is somebody who is eating that karma phala. Whereas this Sakshi is something which is enabling this Jiva to eat that karma phala. So that is it. Then Satu Anashnan Anyaha Abhichakashiti. So that is what is said here. Anashnan Anyaha Abhichakashiti. The meaning is Pashyati eva kevalam. It merely sees. Pashyati eva kevalam. It merely sees. Darshana matram hi tasya prerayitrutvam. Just merely the presence, its presence itself is that's prerayitrutvam. It is not as though it is impelling it to do. The prerayitrutvam means prerayita. That means somebody who is instigating somebody else. It is not as though he is instigating, he is impelling somebody, this jiva, to do it. Darshana matram. Kevalam, its presence itself is its prerayitrutvam. Rajavat. A Raja is there in his office, whereas all other people are doing their job. So that's an example of Raja is also we have seen earlier, in some other places. So then, Tatraivam Sati.
Tatraivam Sati.
When this is so, Tatra Evam Sati means while this is so. While this is so. Then we will go to the next mantra. Samane vrukshe purusho nimagno.
Samane vrukshe purusho nimagno.
Anishaya shochati muhyamanah.
Anishaya shochati muhyamanah.
Jushtam yada pashyatyan anyamisham.
Jushtam yada pashyatyan
Asya mahimanamiti vita shokah.
Asya mahimanamiti vita shokah.
Okay. So this samane vrukshe purusho nimagnaha anishaya shochati muhyamanah. So this purusha, we are now for this word purusha, we are referring to bhokta. We have seen two words here, bhojya, bhoktroho. So this bhokta. So this bhokta is not different from that supreme purusha. But unfortunately this purusha is, what is he doing? Samane vrukshe purushaha nimagna. Samane vrukshe, in the same tree, though it is living in the same tree or staying in the same tree or patched on the same tree or embracing the same tree, nimagnaha. Nimagnaha means samsara sagare magna. Magna, you see? Magnam, you know that word, magnam? Nimajjanam, Ganesha Nimajjanam. What is Nimajjanam? Not trench, Nimajjanam. Nimajjanam is Ganesha Nimajjanam. You have seen. That is, you go take the Ganesha idol and then immerse it in the water. Nimajjanam is immersion, isn't it? Nimagnaha means immersed. Nimagnaha is immersed. So Magnaha, Magna itself is immersed. Nimagnaha, Ni is only an upasarga, a prefix. Nimagnaha, that is totally immersed. Nishayena Magnaha or Nisheshena Magnaha, that is Magnaha, that is somebody who is totally unequivocally immersed. He is so drowned in that samsara. So Nimagnaha. Then Anishaya. Isha, you know, Isha means Lordship, Ishvara. Anishaya means without knowing that he is the Isha. Anishaya, without that notion of Lordship. In a very meek, humble, abject, craven manner. So the craven is a correct word, maybe. Craven. That is somebody who is chicken-hearted, faint-hearted, helpless. So that is what it means. So Anishaya. Anishaya, he has forgotten that he is the Ishvara, and having lost that notion of Ishvara, he is feeling himself a very, very petty fellow. You are a king, but then you don't know that you are the king, and you are behaving like a petty fellow, a servant. So that is what is called an abject behavior or a craven behavior. So abject, not OBJECT, ABJECT, abject. So in a very, very, not even humble. Humility, a great man can be humble. This is not humility. It is an abject behavior, thinking oneself to be a very, very stupid, very, very mean, not mean, very, very useless fellow, faint-hearted. So like that. That is the meaning. So considering oneself petty. That is it. So that is Anishaya. Shochati Muhyamanaha. Muhyamanaha Shochati. Muhyamanaha. That is under delusion. Moha. The word same moha. Muhyamanaha Shochati. He is always worried. Oh, I am this, I am having this difficulty, I am having this problem, I am having some other problem. So he is always facing problems. Then, when is he getting, freed from all this? Then, Jushtam yada pashyati anyam. Jushtam yada pashyati anyam isham. So, by some God's grace, when he realizes yada pashyati anyam, when he sees the other one, when he sees the other one as what? As not different from his own self. When he pashyati, anyam means when he realizes himself as not different from the other. So that is how it has to be taken. The words simply mean yada pashyati anyam means when he sees the other. When he sees the other means when he realizes that he is not different from that other one. What is that other one? Jushtam. Jushtam means sevitam. Sevitam means that which is worshipped by all, that which is followed by all. This Jushtam we have come across in, first time we have come across in Bhagavad Gita. Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. Klaibyam Masmagam Parthan Aitatvayu Upapadyate. No, yar before that, what is that? Kutastva Kashmalabidam Vishame Samupasthitam. Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam. Vishame Samupasthitam. That second adhyaya, 9th or 10th sloka. Kutasva Kashmalamitam. Why all this confusion to you? All this, that is what it is. Anarya Justam. That which is followed by Anarya. That which is followed by some foolish fellows, some petty fellows. So here, Justa, not necessarily worshipped. Justa is actually something which is followed by, followed by wise people. In this, Shankaracharya is going to explain. Justam yada pashyati anyam isham. Isham Justam. This Justam has to be connected to Isha. Isha means this Ishvara. This Ishvara which is followed by all other people. Ishvara which is praised or worshipped by all other people. How will he know? By God's grace, by the grace of a teacher, Acharya, Upadesha, etc. By that Aisham, Asya Mahimanam iti, Asya Mahimanam, and also by realizing Asya Mahima, by the greatness, by realizing that that greatness is not different, my own thing. I am that, and it is my nature also. Asya Mahimanam. Then he becomes Vita Shokaha. Vita Shokaha means Vigata Shokaha. That is, his sorrow disappears. His sorrow disappears. Till that time, he is Anishaya in a very abject, craven, petty manner. He is cringing. Cringing is another beautiful word. He is cringing that, oh, I am such a petty fellow, I am having so much problem. So here, once he realizes that he is that Ishvara, he no longer cringes and his as a pettiness, his sorrow, all that disappears. So we'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.